Welcome back to minus 16. Just.
Just
Alex,
about, yeah.
Alex
Today
is
was
clinging
touch and
on
go.
by his
Yeah,
nails.
I'm on a 4G connection from my S23 Ultra. Hopefully, it will stay.
Oh,
We'll
nice.
never
It was swerving there, the S3 Ultra.
Yeah.
So I got this screenshot just before we were due to start recording saying, my 5G's gone down. I've got no broadband. It's like,
Yeah.
literally 15 minutes before we were due to go on.
And
So-
the thing is that I always had, since I've had this studio, I had this second line from BT here in the UK. It's like a national network. It's almost like, everyone's got it. But they've been so crap that I've cancelled the service. I even paid the penalty to leave them early.
Only yeah.
Last week. Only last week I cancelled it. So a
There's-
little bit to spite my yeah.
And we've spoken speeds before because you're 5G there, and you're kind of more out in the country than I am. But your 5G is really
5G is
good
amazing.
there. Yeah,
amazing.
And I haven't got it here, which is so frustrating because I came back from yours one day and I thought, well, I'm going to phone Vodafone, phone E, whoever, and just get myself a 5G router because doing what we do.
It's been so great. Yeah, it's the first time it happened in almost a year, right? So I've been pretty happy with this. So it's just unfortunate that the network is down. I went on. It's on the news. Like it's a massive issue countrywide. So.
I mean, I'm only 30 miles from the city of London and I can't get 5G here. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. But because
I think we as a country are so bad, right, in comparison with other European countries and America.
Well, I'd thought that, but then you start talking and listening to other creators and they all seem, even the Marquez talks where his studio is. Apparently it's not great there. But I mean, where I am now in the podcast studio, my recording studio, it's at least reasonably, I'm about 150 up. So it's not too bad because just for the guys and people watching, the way this works with Riverside, we record and it uploads at the end. And I was taking 2 hours just to upload. It was so slow.
Today's going to be a challenge to upload it because I'm on a 4G.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So be back by then, but I don't know.
I'm not going to start editing till the morning, so we're fine. So anyway, how have you been?
Yeah, so busy right now. You think that September is busy, of course, and then October. Then you think November is going to be okay, but all the stuff that you didn't do in September and October gets backed up, and there's obviously the a month later, 2 months later videos. So I kind of and I could have done so much more as well. The thing is, I decided not to buy some devices because I was like, it's bad enough. I didn't want to buy the Pixel, but so many people were asking, so I got that, and but making those videos and comparisons, just. It takes a lot of time. So I've been very busy, and December is not different. I'm gonna try and take some time off, but there's just so much stuff.
You got to force yourself to. I was only laughing when you said the ubiquitous 1 month only, because as we're recording, my next video is going up 1 month with the iMac. So everybody turns in. I looked on the calendar, so that was the 1 month. So I've done my 1 month with it kind of video. So that's going up as we chat.
And those are good. I prefer those videos because they are a little bit less, sensationalist, right? So it's more like sharing your experiences. You're always going to find more stuff after a month or 2 months. So I think that our viewers appreciate those videos as well a bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think they turn to us for kind of a fairly calm, measured. I mean, I was watching one of your phone reviews at the weekend, and I could see the amount of work. I don't know if it's your last one you did, but it was a longish video, and you were in Bath, I think.
That was a 3-way comparison, I think.
That's right.
Pixel, S23 Ultra, and iPhone.
An iPhone, that's the one.
That's quite a popular one. And I'm pleased with that one because I used a lot of footage, music. I went to town on that one, but I can't do that every week.
No, exactly. Well, we'll leave a link.
That was a 2-week video to produce.
Yeah, I could tell how much work had gone into it, and I mean, obviously, if people haven't watched it, go and watch Alex's video. But your honest take on it, having used 3 phones like that side by side, are you still? I think you were sort of saying to me that the iPhone clearly is still the winner video-wise, but only video. Is that a fair take?
Yeah, I think so. And that's still the case, right? I don't use the iPhone. I take photos with it. I take video. I mean, this morning I'm recording. I'm actually getting a video ready for next week, which will be about the Garmin, because that's been 6 months using the Garmin as well. So I was out for a run, so I thought I'd just record a few bits for that video.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter. Was that?
Yeah, that
There
was
was,
during the run. Yeah, that was
yeah.
so my run. It's not only like 5-6K. Every other day I do that. So I just take the phone with me now because it's so good. I normally wouldn't have done it, but I do take the phone now and I record some clips and the audio is good, especially if there's no wind. I don't even need my Rode. I mean,
Road,
the
yeah.
audio from the iPhone itself will be good enough. So I used both the S23 Ultra and the iPhone because I was recording stuff about the iPhone as well. So yeah, it's definitely more usable now, and I don't feel as scared to use the iPhone or the S23 Ultra for a video now.
Where are you at on the video on the Pixel? I'm not decided
I
yet.
don't I don't use it that much, but when I did use it, I think Pixels for me have always been. I mean, it might be a perception because I remember the 6 Pro and the 7 Pro, they weren't great. They were very kind of over sharpened and things like that. But it has improved. I think when I did my videos, I did notice the video has improved, but it's just not nowhere near comparable really with the S23 Ultra or the iPhone. But photos, they are incredible.
They are, yeah.
Especially on the 5X, the 3X and 5X on the Pixel. I think value for money is probably my pick of the year because you get a lot for how much it costs.
Yeah, and of course, where it wins out is its AI capabilities and editing abilities of what you can do on device. And that's before we get these two big upgrades that are due this month. We're due the video boost and the night mode or night shoot, whatever they're calling it. This is all called off device, where I've thought this before. They're talking about the videos they're going to take from your gallery, sprinkle it with HDR and send it back to you. But again, it's coming back to what we were just talking about. It's going to be upload times. If it's all well and good if it's just a 1 or 2 minute video of you and a friend, on a beach or something. But if you're taking an 8 or 10 minute video, sort of that, certainly where we are, uploading it and it back down, is going to be painful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and connectivity over here is just so bad. Especially with smartphones. I haven't seen 5G work on a smartphone, and how long it has been. A few years, right? That we should have had 5G, especially when I go to like London, Bath, Bristol, big places where you should expect to have good connectivity. You sometimes see the 5G little connection showing on the phone, but doesn't reflect the speed. The speed is not 5G. For me, it's like 4G S.
Yeah, I had good speeds once right by the Shard in London. There was tremendous speeds there. But it's so packed. It's such a narrow little area. It's nowhere near what they said it was going to be. So, and as I said to you, a few months ago, I am 30 minutes from London.
Yeah.
I got no 5G at all, which is kind of crazy.
And sometimes people mistake the speed versus bandwidth because a network is a pipe, right? If there's so many people on that pipe, the speed is going to be is going to get impacted. So I think it's going to be a few years until we get some really decent coverage because right now it's just it's not a thing. Yeah.
And we mentioned Samsung. Of course, I've seen a lot of tweets from you, and it looks like you're ramping up for January and the S24 Ultra.
Yeah, the S24 Ultra. So that's my next video. Actually, I'm editing. It's probably going to be a Sunday video if I'm honest. If I can get it done over tonight, it'll be good. But yeah, so I got some renders done because I don't know if you noticed, but there was quite a lot of information leaked, and including someone holding the actual phone like in November. So I think that's the main thing, right? That it's coming up earlier than normal. I think usually it's February. And I was talking to Daniel as well, who is one of our guests.
All over it, yeah.
We should have him back, by the way.
Yes, I was thinking
that time of the year, and he's a Samsung guy, right?
Yeah.
But I think he was saying that it's definitely going to come earlier. I think 17th of January is the event, and you can order it on the day for delivery the following week. So much earlier than normal. So the leaks are starting to come thick and fast, and people are saying that we're definitely not getting the 10x again, which is weird, right? Because that was my initial reaction, and then when I did a bit of research, I was like, why did they remove the 10x zoom? Because that's the best lens for me. Not just because you can get closer to stuff, because a lot of people think, okay, how close can you get to things, which is, in my opinion, useful. But I like to look at the picture and go, that's a nice picture. It looks nice. I don't care how close I can read a sign that's a million miles away. Maybe once or twice a year, I'll use that as a trying to get close to stuff. But I do like the 10x, just the makeup of the composition of the photo, like the separation, the bokeh. It's really, really nice. Equally, the 5x on the iPhone, I think I really like that lens.
Yeah, I've been using that more. I didn't think I'd use it a lot, but it's a lovely
beautiful
lens.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I think that's the main thing for me. So when I looked at it, it's actually, even though they're going with a 5x optical on the S23, on the S24 Ultra, we are getting a 48 or 50 megapixel sensor instead of a 12 megapixel sensor. So I think that's a big, I think we are going to see better quality photos, even though, the optical zoom is only 5x instead of 10.
But presumably low light photography and video is going to be with a sensor that big.
With a massive sensor like that, it should be okay, right? And was it the other thing that no one's talking? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say design-wise, because obviously, I follow Samsung a bit more now, and if the gods are kind to me, I might try and get my hands on one. But I know because you're a user, obviously, you've been using it solidly for last year. So what are the other big steers that are coming out?
Well, my main reaction is exactly the same as the S23 Ultra. The S23 Ultra's performance and usability and all the features that it has kind of makes up for in my opinion, the boring design. Because the S22 Ultra went minimal, following a really nice S21 Ultra, which I still think is peak Samsung right now. But yeah, I just don't like this minimal flat thing at the back. It's just not great. It's not exciting. But they made the screen less rounded. Apparently, there's going to be a tiny round edge, but nothing close to what it is right now, which is quite a big curve. So and it looks a lot squarer, quite a boxy design with titanium coating.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's not a frame of titanium. It's a bit like what Apple did.
Yep.
I think with the difference that, at least I haven't heard anything, that there's no color. It's just natural titanium. I think that'll be good from a scratchy perspective, right?
Is that the white one or the back of the phone is going to be titanium?
No, it's just the frame, exactly the same as Apple. Yeah. So so I think that's going to be a little bit better from a durability perspective, because there's no color, so there's not going to be, you can't scratch it. But it doesn't reduce the weight, because the frame is still aluminium. And from what I'm hearing, the internals are not that different. So I think from a weight perspective, which we did see on the iPhone, we're not going to see on the S24 Ultra. It's going to be the same weight, which worries me, because I quite like, the fact that it is quite ergonomic. It's a big old phone, right? It's a massive thing. And it's already it digs in your hand, if you're not wearing a case on the corners. They're quite sharp corners, even though it's got a rounded display. So I'm worried about that aspect of, the ergonomic aspect. And that's what everyone's talking about. But I think there's something on the software side of things that excites me a lot more than the design.
Which is,
so I don't know if you've heard about the Galaxy AI stuff that is being powered by Snapdragon 8 Gen 3.
No.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So I watched the Snapdragon event, and in there, I think they had Xiaomi maybe and Honor, Chinese brands, already using this on their phones. And the stuff they showed was incredible in terms of what you can use, can do with photo editing and video editing. So the Pixels was already kind of showing us a little bit what can be done with AI. But yeah, the stuff they showed was like, one of the examples was pick videos of my child, and put it together where they're dancing. So, AI, you're just doing like a voice command, right? You're not typing. AI then goes off and searches for videos of the child where they're dancing and edits a video, like in seconds, right? Edits the video, puts music on, some transitions. Here's the video, like, it's a 20, 30-second video of your child, like as she grew. dancing. It's like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Because there's so much, as a parent, right? We take so many photos and videos, and we never really think about going back and putting like this, kind of collage together. So I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah, oh geez,
that'd be really cool. And we see something. I think Google Photos does that, and I think Apple as well with iPhotos. Is it iPhotos?
Yeah, I mean, you've got it's good at face recognition, of course, and recognizing regular faces and all that. But I mean, what you just described there, that is again another level, isn't it?
It's a voice command. You ask.
That's the amazing thing.
Go
voice
off
command
and do something for me, and it comes out. It felt like ChatGPT for your photos and videos, which was really cool.
And presumably that's just going to be in the Pro, is it? That will just be in the S24 Pro.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm kind of concerned about. Well, there's a cynical side of me that thinks they're going to make it exclusive to the S24 Ultra.
So Ultra, yeah, not Pro.
But when you look at what it's doing, so are we saying now the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which has been incredible up until now, are we saying that that's not good enough for this sort of AI processing? So that's the cynical side. There's probably something in there that does rely on on the advancements of the Gen 3, which has been a lot. I mean, they do that a lot with that chip. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of software advances that are less reliant on hardware than the manufacturers are going to make us believe.
So it's going to be a lot reliant on AI rather than hardware reliability.
I think so. I think we're getting to that point now where all this AI stuff is coming out, but I don't think the processing power is that much of a hindrance. I think we've already got very fast processors, but of course the manufacturers might say, okay, this will only work on the S24 Ultra. Sorry if you've got the S23 Ultra or the Fold 5, which have a Gen 2 processor, so it's not like we've got a crappy processor.
No, I mean,
but I think they're going to make something like Apple did with the double tap on the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Mm-hmm. It needs the SIP 9 chip, right?
That's right. So it's really? Only for. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also people I know have been saying, well, why are these chips getting so powerful? They said it with the A17 Pro that's in this year's iPhone. And it's because I think it's a clear indication that all the big three know that AI is going to be becoming more and more ingrained in these phones, and they need a processor ready that's going to be able to handle it. It seems to stand to reason. Now, that's clearly the future, isn't it? Everything's going to be relying on AI. And as you say, if it can now, on a voice command, go and edit videos together for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I was watching the Snapdragon event, and in there they showed quite a few advances in there, and I was, it's all exciting. And obviously, knowing Samsung, their implementation is going to be amazing. I have no doubts of it. But what I started to realize is that, as an industry, right, not just Samsung and not just, Android phones, but we're starting to see a lot of advances in AI and software that manufacturers are trying to say that is now only possible with a certain chip. But I don't know, the skeptical side of me thinks there's a lot going on in software that I'm not sure, are we now saying that Snapdragon Gen 8, for example, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is no good now for AI operations? I find that a bit weird. And we saw that with the Apple Watch Ultra, with the Apple Watch Ultra 2, right? The double tap, which is a very simple operation, but it seems that because it's so many tiny micro adjustments that it has to make to kind of see that it's doing that, they're saying that it needs that new chip, the SIP9. I don't know. I find all this stuff really interesting.
Yeah.
Because clearly the software stuff, the AI advances they're going really fast with this stuff. So voice recognition, the ability to just, I use CapCut for my shorts now, and it's just like, since when did this stuff get so good? Right? Because I remember using it about 2 years ago. So it was like, you can do captions and stuff, but now you can actually like create an entire personas and make them speak, with any voice that you want. It's just crazy how AI is changing this industry. It's scary, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it influences every day. There's some element of us using. I think I mentioned a good few podcasts back. I think the first time I came across AI was with Descript. And they, of course, they're still marching on. They've kind of fallen by the wayside, although they're still a great product. They offer great services. But, they were one of the first that did this whole, if you read out, it was a fairly long script, but then it would recognize your voice. And then if you needed to edit anything, any kind of recording you made, it would be able to go and put the words in for you and use your voice.
Yeah.
And just, they were the first I came across. And of course, since then, it's just gone on a hell of a pace, isn't it? And I know you've been using Gling a lot as well, haven't you?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, for video editing, just, to put it in perspective, right? Last summer, 2022 summer, not this summer. I hired someone to edit my A roll. So just the kind of this angle to remove my, the quiets and the screw ups. And they were charging me £150 a day, and they spend, I don't know, 3-4 hours doing this. And when I did it myself, again, it was 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours just to get one video of 10 minutes chopped up, just the A roll. Now it's done in 15, maybe 25 minutes if I go in there and tweak a few things with Gling. So it saves me a lot of time, and I've been able to keep consistent on YouTube. I can guarantee I wouldn't have been able to do as many videos as I did.
Because of that editing time.
September, I think I did 12, maybe 14 videos if you include the Brazilian channel. Crazy in 1 month to do that many videos.
Yeah, and it's there to embrace. I mean,
that was because of AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's there to embrace. I often check for title suggestions and things like that. Certainly, I go in there, and any way that I can improve audio through using AI, I'll always look at it. As much as I like to think I know what I'm doing, AI can generally do it better. So if it's there, why not take it?
And just today, I was reading about the updates on Final Cut 10.7. Literally just came out yesterday, and that's got new AI-based features on tracking. So if you're tracking motion, might be like a car moving or whatever, and then you want to animate your text to track that object that's moving.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And I always found it a bit finicky, and it worked, but it needed to be like the perfect footage. Now it seems to be, so it has this AI option, and it will track things that are like there was an animal going behind a tree, and he kept tracking because AI realizes what it is, and he's going to go behind a tree, and he carried on after.
Wow. That's
Previously,
the thing.
he would lose as soon as they went behind something. He would lose to tracking because it just thinks that he's gone.
And that's the thing. I mean, they're all playing catch. If Final Cut did that now, that Adobe are going to come out with something, and they're all playing catch up and trying to get to these. I mean, I've seen some of the things that Final Cut can do, and it does look amazing. Certainly with there's that green screen effect, isn't there, that you can do in Final Cut where you can easily remove backgrounds and stuff, which that looks like. Is it good to use?
Yeah, so I started using that, and I thought it was pretty good. And then Motion VFX came out with their version of it, which it's even better because it's like rotoscoping on After Effects.
Yeah,
it's exactly that. So you just do you select a frame, freeze the frame, quickly select yourself or whatever it is that you want to track, and amazingly. I mean, I posted on Twitter an example. It just shows me, and it literally took me 5 seconds to kind of select what I want, and then he does then you select go forward or go back and track the rest of the footage, and it doesn't miss it. I mean, it's so rare that I need to go back in there and adjust a little, make little adjustments. So yeah, it's getting really, really good, and it's good for us, right? Because he works with people and he works with products as well, so I can get text behind products now really easily.
Yeah, that's one.
All that stuff saves time.
I haven't found plugins for Premiere that do it, and certainly Premiere natively doesn't have that yet. But I haven't found a good. So if anyone knows good plugins that can do that in Premiere, let me know. Rotoscoping,
right? You can do it in After Effects, but it's such a
that's a hard
thing to do.
Yeah, I tried it once, and the amount of time it takes, it doesn't really kind of warrant the amount of effort to get the result, is it? I mean, you need a plugin. If there's a plugin that you said Motion VFX use, that's just drag and drop essentially from what you're saying.
Yeah, and the trend that we're seeing again in the industry, with everything, is subscriptions. So Motion VFX, which has always been expensive, but you buy it and it's yours. Now with this new feature, it's a subscription. So it's kind of a little bit of it's worth it, and it's paid for itself already in my videos, but I can see people going, I'm not sure I want, to pay for this every month.
Yeah, they give you the good stuff, and then they're going to make you pay for it forever and a day. Of course, I've been used to that because I've been an Adobe person for suppose, about 10, 12 years now. So I'm kind of used to the subscription life. Waves, though, when they did it this year, I don't understand a company like Waves, how they can think that, and again, Waves, I guess many people know they're audio plugins.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's hard push to explain a subscription on a product like that.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, right? So if you're making, if you do one video a month that brings in, I don't know, just in AdSense, right, brings in 250, 300 quid, you kind of paid for those subscriptions, right? So it's kind of okay. Well, people are liking the content, and in one video you can actually make the money back. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way is this thing is adding up, right? Photoshop, you know, and Photoshop with generative AI is going to get a big hit, I think, because I know at least two creators. I don't know a lot of creators, right? But I know at least two who have mentioned to me, oh, this is cool. You know, how did you do this thumbnail or whatever? So I'll just use generative AI on Photoshop. And they're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to get this because it's worth the 40, whatever, 40, 50 quid a month. And I'm thinking, if you're buying Photoshop and you're willing to pay 50 quid a month for that feature alone, I think with the S24 Ultra and other phones that will probably follow through, it will have that feature on the phone.
Yeah, on device.
Which is like, okay. And I don't think it will be a subscription. I think it will be just part of the software. Yeah, I think, and Snapdragon showed it on video, which was incredible. So they were removing things and adding things that were never in the video, like on the phone. It's like, okay, so it's not going to the cloud, or I think Google are saying something that they're going to do something with lighting, right? To improve the lighting in the cloud and give you back the footage corrected. This was on device.
Wow.
Like, so generative AI on video, on device. I was like, okay. So I think Photoshop is gonna bit of a, Adobe are gonna have a bit of competition now, because these devices are getting so powerful.
I wonder how much it's going to hammer the battery, though, if it's doing all that on device.
Yeah. There's a lot of
that's a lot of processing. Certainly, if you're talking about video.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I think with Google, and you can tell with the audio fixing, right? There's a limit. I think 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how they do it, right? So you can't do it on a long, like half an hour video, but if it's a short clip, you might be okay. Still very impressive. I mean, that's the sort of stuff that not many people are talking about. When everyone talks about the S24 Ultra, and everyone's going on about titanium frame this and square design that, and I'm like, guys, the story here,
the big
is
one,
what you can do with it, right?
Yeah.
It's not about how
so
it
that's
looks,
what's going to make
whatever.
it stand out ahead and above. And we've got one big story we're going to put our thoughts to, I think. And straight off the bat, I know Casetify have been one of your sponsors, so I know you've worked with them. But we spoke before, and you said no. And you said no. I'm perfectly happy to talk about it and speak about it. So probably best I hand it over to you, because we all know what's gone on with D-Brand and Gerald and completely rumbling them, and we know
Zach from Jerry rig everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know what's gone on. I'm sure everyone listening and watching this podcast is aware of the foul up that Casetify made last week. And, well, where do you think we're at with it? How does it stand for you? Because you know them as a company, so...
Yeah, I do, and I've been working with them since day one, pretty much. They were one of the first sponsors of the channel. So we go back a bit, and obviously, they support a lot of creators on YouTube, and I always kind of, like companies that support content creators. They haven't been the easiest to work with, but that's true for 90% of the sponsors that I work with. They're not easy to start with. There's always that lowballing phase, and then when you grow, the idea is that you grow with the brand and you're helping them and they help you. I think that's the best relationship, right? So and you do that in other businesses as well, right? If you got clients, you produce something good for them, it's great for them, and they'll call you back and you help each other. That's kind of how I see every single sponsor, right? It's a partnership. Now they fucked up. there's no kind of beating around the bush here.
They sure did.
There's no hiding, right? They've said it themselves that they've done it wrong. I don't know the details, but I try not to judge too harshly because, in business, especially when you get to a certain size, right, in a corporation like that, it feels to me like, and I've seen companies in the UK that I worked for where they were a startup and they grew quite quickly, that they don't, put in processes and checks and balances to avoid some of this stuff. And so the positive side of me, the kind of the optimistic side of me thinks maybe it was just one guy, maybe they used a third party, maybe they used a small team even, and it never got to an exec decision that someone looked at it and go, hang on, knowingly that it was a copy and ripping off Zach from Jerry Rig, everything. Knowingly, you said, right, no, we're still going ahead with this, and I know it's a copy, it's a completely rip off. I don't think that happened. That's my kind of optimistic approach, right? And Casetify, they've contacted me to say, they're okay, and I said, okay, well, I know what's going on,
So they've
I'll be
spoken to you
here.
since this is all
Yeah.
blown up. Yeah, okay.
It was almost like because I've been contacting them about other videos that I had planned for the rest of the year, and they came back and said, look, we know what's happened, we are going to rectify the issue and all that. So I think that's, what don't want to speak for them, and my hope is that they will make everything right for Zach. And I actually commend what Zach said as well in his video, that he will use the money that he gets from these proceedings. Hopefully, he's saying there's a multi-million dollar. I don't know how much he's going to get, but he's going to use that for free wheelchairs. And I think that's really, really
he's got
nice,
a wheelchair
right?
business, I think, hasn't he? I think that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, and that brings me to the point of the creator, right? We've both been there, right? Not at the same scale. I can't even compare that. But I remember being the little guy taken advantage by a creator who had, I think at the time, 500,000 subscribers, stealing my content. No, there's no question about it. He used my content, removed all the credit, didn't even mention it was me, and made it past, as his content. When I called him out, and I went public, and I did exactly what, because I was like, I work hard for this stuff, right? I don't want my hard work to go into someone else's.
It was B-roll it took, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was B-roll, and it's just use my footage without any.
And to give people an idea, I mean, the video that's going up this week for me, I spent probably about 4 or 5 hours just shooting B-roll. As you know, that time passes very quickly. So it's not, I know it looks nothing in the videos, but we put a lot of time and effort into that. So if somebody just
you're
come
sitting
along.
in a studio that costs you money, you've used a camera that costs you money, there's your time, that you're away from your family, all this stuff, right? So when you see your work being stolen, I know exactly how painful that is. And that wasn't even comparable, right? That was just a tiny one example. There wasn't really any monetary thing involved. In this case, right, with Zach, he spent, I think he mentioned 10,000 hours of editing, right, to get these products in, in the way they look, and, really, really well done with dbrand. But yeah, there's that element of you're not really by yourself, right? There's a dbrand connection as well. So I think, we mustn't forget that dbrand themselves have been on the other side of this, right? When they were
past.
Yeah, again, you probably can't really compare, but there's a little bit of I don't know, maybe they could have been a little bit kinder and not done it like on the day before Black Friday as well. Just like, it also was a masterclass from a marketing perspective, right? Because the big winner is obviously Zach and dbrand, because they stopped Casetify from being pushing on Black Friday sales, and then they themselves launched a new product on that day through that video that went, I think they went like trending on number 4 trending in the world. Massive win, huge win. But I think, it's a little bit rich because, and I love dbrand too. I work with dbrand as well. Dbrand are like, I think at least 2 that I know of, right? I think one was Sony when they copied, or they did something for the case for the PlayStation, and Sony was like, that's our case. You can't replicate it. So they weren't. Yeah, that was a big one. And then recently Call of Duty as well. So they're using skins that are found in the Call of Duty game, and they brag about it, and they say this stuff, and our lawyers would deal with that stuff. And I think that's part of the industry sometimes, right? They kind of, there's a line in there that's a bit blurry. but I think there's no question about it, right? Zach
Zach,
did something quite original with this. What does he call it? It's the breakdown thing. I don't know, but it's kind of
tear down, isn't it? Isn't it tear down?
tear down. Yeah,
yeah.
It's awesome, and I've actually got a Casetify case with that design. It's on my phone right now. I don't know if this is one of them, but it looks like. But I think, I think that's the, you got to be original. There's copying other people is just not on. I think there's inspiring other designs, great, right?
Sure.
We all do that. I always, look at stuff that I like. So I like that. I'm going to try and do it myself. And you add your own spin to it sometimes, right?
Exactly, yeah. Kind plagiarizing is the way this thing develops, because you'll see somebody with their idea and you think, okay, that works. What can I do? It almost smacks to me like it was an intern or something, scanned something, downloaded it.
It's very amateurish, right? Because it
and that was just supposed to be a reference.
Like left
Easter eggs all over it.
Easter eggs in there. It's like, come on, man. If you're gonna copy somebody, at least make it look different. It's like rule number one, like from school, right? It's like,
gonna
copy someone's work. At least add some words that make it look like yours.
Or at least take the words out, because there was that bit on there, wasn't there? Glass is glass or something. It was very, very much a
so
brand.
Many, even the dates. Right? The dates on the D brand logo is in there. Even like a little bit like pixelated. I was like, oh my god.
I can't help but think that shot was just supposed to be almost a reference shot, and as you say, channels of communication got completely screwed over down the chain, and suddenly it went from being a reference shot to being used as the actual scan. It just seems that two things that came out of when I was watching Zach's video, I didn't realise how huge Casetify was as a company. They are massive, and also with Zach, how long it takes to make those teardown cases.
They are. Yeah,
they are
and the new ones look great
they?
too, right? They're all fantastic work. So I just think it's very unfortunate because a lot of creators like me work with Casetify, and they're probably feeling a little bit like, ooh, I don't want to touch them again and whatever. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been in business for quite a long time, and I know people screw up, and sometimes, it's obviously it's their name and their brand that's obviously now got a massive reputation issue to deal with. But I think. I'm a little bit more forgiving when it comes to this stuff, because I think there's a human being at some point that screwed up, and we all screw up, right? As human beings. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what my optimistic kind of side of me kind of wants to think. That's what happened. That is kind of overlooked. Some process got broken and stuff got copied without their fully knowledge. But yeah.
So I think the latest I heard, Zach is definitely doing a federal lawsuit on them, so they're going to get slapped with something.
Oh yeah,
it could be big, and it doesn't look to be any route of defence, does there? They were banged to rights.
No, and they said it themselves, right? I think they will pay whatever. Hopefully, they will come back from learning. Having learned something important there. Again,
I don't think it's anything delicate to say. So you said you've spoken with them since. Are they still intending to work with creators? Are they still hoping to sponsor videos?
No,
Is
they
it
haven't
business as
mentioned
usual?
that.
Or?
They haven't mentioned that. No, there's definitely not business as usual.
It would be a tough one to bounce back in a week.
But I did say I'm still, whenever you're ready, I'll be here. I have no issues in promoting their products. Of course, I won't promote the stuff that is now said that they removed from their shelves, right? But they are still, quite creative, when it comes to their designs and stuff. So there are things that they do that, are make them quite unique. I mean, this new case that I've got here has a little ring on the camera that makes. I was using this morning because it's like, oh my god, this is awesome, because I can just plop it somewhere and use it as a stand. As like a kickstand, so they do stuff that is cool, and I hope they come back and become a little bit more original and stronger in how they vet some of these designs, right? Because you can't let that happen again, and
no, if
assuming that they will come back from it, because it could completely ruin their reputation, and but I hope that's not the case. I hope that they'll just learn from it and move on. And
well, I mean, as you said, everybody makes a mistake. If they were to get caught a second time round, that would be unforgivable. And, I don't think there is a second chance on this. They've done wrong for whatever reason. They were found to have completely screwed up. It's now just time to pay up, fess up, move on. And as you say, they've been a good company to work with. They do make good products. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
everybody's
Yeah, I mean, and
fouled up
they've
somewhere.
improved actually, and I have to say, right, 2-3 years ago, there were some durability issues, there's some cases, and they've taken feedback from me. Not just Casetify, actually. A lot of these accessories brands, their products, it's because they're mass production, right, stuff, and yeah, they're not perfect. So some of them won't listen to feedback, but a lot of them do, and a lot of them implemented their. I think I've got one from Mouse here that on my S23 Ultra that has got these grooves on the side. I wasn't the only one, by the way, but I was one of the people saying this is too slippery. I love the case, and you can drop it and you will save your phone, but it's too slippery on the side. So they've added this grip on the side, which has made it better. So they do listen, and they are all
Yeah.
kind of quite young companies as well. So I think there's I'm kind of hoping that that's what
And
happened. That they're kind of inexperienced,
that
overlooked.
must I would have thought that must be the positive side of a company or accessory companies generally working with creators, because they're paying and sponsoring the video, but if they're getting good feedback as well, in turn that is actually going to help them, isn't it? So it's not just the direct sales they might make out of the video.
Yeah,
their product is
yeah.
actually going to get better because it's getting reviewed and getting looked and
Yeah,
used.
and we're getting this feedback from viewers, right? Viewers sometimes use us as customer support, which can be quite annoying, right? But
Yeah.
I'm when I make another video, I go back to the comments as well. What are people most complaining about? And I then voice that on the video for the brand. So I think there's definitely that element of getting some 360 feedback from the customers that may not go to their channels, to their route of support, and they'll come to our videos because they saw her in the video, like I'm going to comment, and as if we worked for them, right?
Yeah, I know. The fact is, I think we've sort of mentioned this before, that the way it works is we're basically their market research already because we found their demographic and who they want to be speaking to. That's why they're interested in sponsoring videos and working with us. And then, as you say, if you're becoming customer support as well, it's how many bites of the cherry do you want? How much are you going to buy of this kind of thing? Because
in some cases, I do say to viewers, "Hey, look, I can't help you there, right? You got to go to them." But in some cases, actually, I've had that before, or some other viewer, had this exactly same issue, and this is what they've done. So there's a lot of good stuff by having that that relationship. But I think I'm not gonna close the doors on them yet, because I think unless it turns out that they did it maliciously and they're like completely evil. But I just don't think I don't think that's the case. They are like any company.
You're in a good position to judge
there.
because you've actually dealt with them, and you would have sniffed a rat. You're not an idiot. You would have sniffed out a bad egg if they were just a rogue company trying to copy and steal. You would have sussed that out age ago, and you would have walked away from it. I know you would have.
Yeah, and that, to be honest, I feel bad myself for not noticing those little Easter eggs because I've got deep brand products myself. So I'm a customer of both. Before doing YouTube, I actually bought both products. But yeah, it's like, how did I not see that? So I think it's easy, if I didn't see it, having looked at these products myself, I was like, oh, and actually not many people saw, because this Casetify kind of what's it called, tear down cases.
Yeah,
they've been around for a while. So I think it's amazing that no one else, picked up on it.
because people in this tech world are generally fairly kind of anal, and they will go through these things and find every single mistake about anything, either something we say or something, as you say, if that was staring in the face, you would have thought somebody would have picked up on it sooner.
If I'm really honest myself, I always thought, okay, I've seen that before. I know what they're doing here. There's like they're copying that idea. I just didn't realize they actually copied the actual
the actual design.
as the brand said, right? They right clicked save. It's like, that's bad.
Pop
that's
it
just bad.
Pop it in the downloads and carry on. And you in part one of the recording, you were saying that December is still looking busy for you, though, in production time for YouTube, because you said you're behind on other stuff that you wanted to be making. So December doesn't show any signs of sort of slowing down for you then?
No. It's, if anything, is busier now, because the channel, the Brazilian channel, is gone past 50K now.
Wow.
It just reached 50. It's almost 52,000 now, which is just insane. I don't know.
Often are you
There's no
posting
other
to it?
words. Twice a month.
Oh, only twice a month, and it's gone to 50.
Month, and they've been decent videos. I've been quite strategic with the content. people are starting to go, hang on, is there anything else here, or are you gonna just do like iPhone and Samsung stuff? But I have done a MacBook video as well, which didn't do well. So I'm kind of trying to be strategic on the videos that do well on the English channel. I go and do it in Portuguese. But I think it got to a point now very quickly where, there's already a community around that people come in. It doesn't matter what I post, they'll come in and comment. And my Instagram is growing on it as well as a result. It's awesome.
And are you now making dedicated? Are you making dedicated videos for the channel now? Because I think early on you were just re-voicing them in Portuguese, weren't you?
I did one video for the first time where I started it in Portuguese. So the Pixel review that you saw on the English channel started its life in Portuguese. And that was the first time I've ever done that. Actually got uploaded to the Portuguese channel before, which was cool. And I wanted to do that because they were the ones actually asking for the Pixel 8 Pro review more than the English channel. So I was okay, well, that's an idea to do that the other way around. And it worked well. But the process, for it to continue at the moment is just myself, right? It has to be that way where I reuse one or the other, because otherwise it's just too much.
Yeah, it's just doubling the work up, isn't it? When there's one pair of hands steering the ship, it is.
One thing we were talking about AI earlier, right? And I think it's a consideration for anyone wanting to expand content to other languages. There are tools out there that will do this for you, right? They're just going to replace what you say to whatever language now, Hindi, Russian, whatever it is that you want, and it's an amazing job. There's quite a few people doing this.
Because it's lip synced as well, isn't it? It's
and I asked my audience over there, so it would be a lot quicker for me to just do that for the channel. And they said, why don't you do that? They were saying to me, it's like, why don't you do it? Because we would rather, have more content that is, even if it's dubbed, they said, just dub it. So they just do a voiceover, is you talking in English, but do it, do the dubbing. So, So maybe, to really grow that channel, that's what I might do, to maybe do like 3-4 videos where I'm dubbing or using AI, and then do 1 or 2 a month, like I'm doing right now, which is a complete remake of the A-roll.
So your English channel's what, 80,000 now?
80 as of now, I think is 86, I think.
And the Brazil's already
87.
And that's already at 50.
It's going to get to 100K before the main channel. I can't stop that, yeah. Which is nuts.
We talked about this when you first launched it. It's because there was an absolute void in the market. You said there really wasn't much in the way of good quality content being made.
Yeah, and the compounding interest there is really visible. I mean, on YouTube, you see that the more you grow, and I think I've talked about this with you before, right? When you go past 1,000, 2,000, the views grow, and the impressions grow as well. So I think there's, and I've seen that with the English channel, but it's just so slow. And yesterday I posted a short video, exactly the same video at the same time to both channels, like just dished out at the same time. And it's amazing how much more. I mean, they watch for longer, they engage more, they just like me more, I think.
I don't know. Well,
I think
also
it's newer, it's more unique, I think.
You've got obviously the fact that you can talk the language, and if there's not many Portuguese spoken videos in the tech space talking about pixels,
there are very few. I'd say less than 20 that are. They're massive channels though. They're over there.
I was with you. Do you remember in the summer? And you were showing me them. They weren't too clever, were they?
No, it's very basic. And I think that's what's helping is that there's the quality that we're used to seeing on channels, in America and Europe and Canada and all that, but in a language that maybe over there locally they're not just doing that sort of content.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
No,
it's great.
You found the market, you found the gap, so go reap your rewards if you just be really.
Well, I can, right? Because I think eventually, like anything, right, people will go, all right, that's what makes channels grow over there. So they'll probably start doing the same. But
because obviously
there's only one of you, right? There's still one of you. There's one person that can say something like you do. So, which is the counter for AI, right? So we're scared about AI sometimes, but there's still that connection that AI can't really replicate yet.
No, exactly. No, it all comes back. We've said it before. It's saying it in your voice. There might be another video covering the same product, almost saying the same things, but it's your voice that people like. The way you put it over and the way you come back week after week and do the same thing, sort of rinse and repeat. They like and buy into you, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think
that's the important thing.
So it's going to be really useful to grow channels now in other languages, and I think I'm going to try like Spanish. And even though I can speak Spanish, I probably won't try because I'm not fluent. But I think it would be an awesome idea to just do the dubbing using AI and just see how it goes. Even if it's like maybe it's just short content for stories and reels and YouTube shorts. Just do a couple of channels in other language, like complete random, like Hindi and whatever. See what happens.
Yeah, no, it's worth testing the waters, you say, because the tools are there, aren't they? And if it's not that much work to repurpose it, it's almost too obvious not to give it a go.
There's always the illusion, right? I've said that to myself before. Oh, how hard can it be, right? And it ends up being quite hard because at the end of the day, it's all time. And I've recorded a batch of shorts last week. And I think there's 7 or 8 shorts in there, and I've managed to edit 2 of them this week. So it doesn't work as because I've done I'll batch record them like in one sitting, 8 videos, boom, 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 right? But it just takes time to edit.
It does.
And the sound effects, and I'm very I'm maybe too precious on the editing. I should just chop it out, put in CapCut, and just go without any effects or any fancy stuff.
No, but that's not you. You know what makes you happy. You know what your audience like. You know what is the kind of the DNA of your videos. So you wouldn't want to sell short on that. But this thing, they're short by name. But I don't do them regularly. But again, it's just one more thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, even if it's like a 30-second video, it will take at least an hour, and it's just
damn right, yeah. You've got to come up with the idea. You've got to actually get the idea first of all. Then, even if it's loose notes or scripting of some kind, you need to know what you're talking about. And then, of course,
shorts you have to be so snappy,
bang,
right?
bang.
Yeah. It's exciting because one of them could completely. I was showing someone today a short that I did 300 days ago, and for 250 days, it did nothing. It was upsetting me because I spent 250 quid on this. It was a PlayStation controller. Got the visuals, got the effects, got the sound. I mean, I did a lot of sound design on this. It looked awesome. I uploaded it. It was a 20-second video. It did nothing for like 250 days. In the last 2 months, it got almost 100 subs and 70,000 views. But it just goes nothing. Whoop, for no reason. Right? It's like
that's the thing with shorts. You just need to keep plugging that gap, don't you? Because one of them's going to do something. And I had one recently. I've made a short about side loading. Back in the, it wasn't even particularly good, but it's earning me subs, and people still are commenting on it.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's because it was tapping into that kind of vein. People wanted side load, wanted the iPhone to open up, the App Store to open up, and all that kind of issue. So I don't know if it's just picking on the right subject, but
it's also finding the right length, because sometimes it might be like 2 seconds too long or too short, and it won't go anywhere. It has to be the right length. And in this case, I can see this 120% viewed, so people are watching as a loop, which I don't do it anymore. It's so dumb because that one was. I made it on purpose to end as a continuous loop, and it worked because it's only 20 seconds. You don't notice too much. So there's a lot of visuals, a lot of effects. It took me ages to produce for a 20-second clip, but for a long time, I almost deleted it because I was like, come on, 200 views after a month. I was like, I nearly deleted it. I have deleted a few before. Some people re-upload it, and I sometimes just give up on it.
I don't think I've deleted anything yet. I think I've left everything up there on the premise that you never know. It could just
I should be a bit more like that. Yeah, there's a case video that I've edited up, got it ready to upload, but it's less than 5 minutes long, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen. It's just going to tank and look bad. But in January, when things are a bit quieter, sponsors are not really looking at you, I don't think. So I'm just going to upload it then. But
that's a sponsored video, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. I recorded on the whim. I had the stuff. I was, kind of reviewing one of them for a sponsored segment. So how hard can it be? So I just do like a 5-6 minute video. Uploaded one of them, which was the Pixel one, It did okay, but it didn't go anywhere because it was less than 5 minutes. So I thought, okay, for the iPhone, it's exactly the same video. So like, I know it's going to happen. So I just left it. So yeah, there's a few. I've deleted one that took me months to put together because it tanked so hard. It was painful to live. It was one that I took the phone. I think it was the S22 Ultra. I took it to the cheese rolling hill, that we've got in Gloucester. And I did the cheese rolling thing with the S22 Ultra because I was so annoyed about that phone. And there was a whole story behind it. There's me going there and doing this thing. And it did nothing. It's like, okay, 2 days later, I just deleted it. So maybe I'll re-upload it.
We do get attached to our little babies. There was one I made during the summer, and I don't know what the views are still. I don't think it's good. It was about 25. I actually recorded and I got it released and uploaded on the 25th anniversary of iMac. I was really proud of it. It was all the old adverts, lots of history in there, lots of research. I was really proud of it, and just nobody wanted to watch it. And everything I was thinking, I thought, well, iMac's a hugely popular product, and it was on the right day. It was on the 25th birthday, and it was on various.
And I think people don't get notified as well the same way that they. Cause if you go a little bit off piste, I mean, my Black Friday video, no less effort than any other video. No, a lot of work went in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched it.
Change the thumbnail 3 times. Put it again. Change the title to Cyber Monday when it was Cyber Monday. Nothing. I think it's less than 3,000 views. Like a week later, it's like, oh my god, that's one that I should probably delete. If it didn't have a sponsor, I would delete it because it's just. It looks awful, right, on the channel.
I think last week was a rough week for either notifications or the algorithm. Again, I had a really poor week. I had 2 or 3 really good weeks, and suddenly just nothing. Yeah, the subject wasn't necessarily on point, but it wasn't a bad subject. It's about ProRes photography on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, so it's reasonably current. But last weekend, I don't know if it's just because of the sheer. Also, I've noticed a lot of the big creators at the moment, the big boys, they're not uploading particularly regularly at the moment. So I don't know if everyone's just like, I don't know, taking the foot off the throttle or something.
I don't know. I think we sometimes, if something does well, what I have learned that kind of still works is something does well, double down on it and just do like 3-4 videos on it. And even though like you're repeating yourself, that seems to still work, even though it's boring as hell. At the end of it, I mean, by now I can't even think about doing a smartphone review anymore. But that's the stuff that works for my channel at the moment. But the minute I veer off, even though it's like I did as a smartphones accessories, so it's not that veering off, right? It's in the same niche. It's not like I'm making a tutorial or I don't know, doing a vlog or anything, right? It's product, so it just didn't work at all. And I think. And maybe it's the way I do them that I should maybe just do something slightly different. Because once you've seen an accessory video, it's like from anybody, it's like, okay, it's not really that different.
No, but
yeah, I don't know. I think that's
the problem we face. There's only so much you can say about a power brick or a case or a cable, or you can only sort of polish it in so many different ways, can't you? At the end of the day, it is what it is, and you can only say certain things about it.
And I do enjoy those videos. I enjoy making them and sharing how I use them. And same with desk setups. Every time I do a desk setup video, it tanks. And I've got one to make in December, which is I'm dreading already because it's not going to do well. But I enjoy them, and it hopefully does well in affiliate stuff. But it's not. Yeah, it's not great when you spend a lot of effort, which is not less effort than the other videos, and it just doesn't go anywhere.
No, I don't think you'll ever put a video out that we're not proud of. And okay, there's a point in time when you have to say, right, that's it, that is the final edit, that's going to go. But nonetheless, I don't think you'll ever put out a video that we're not at that moment saying, yeah, that's about as good as I could do on that given week, on that given subject, on that device. And if you can honestly put your hand up and say, yeah. In fact, that video I was just talking about, that ProRes, and Daniel got in touch with me and said, I've watched it, mate, and it was really and that's from a Samsung boy, and he was saying it was a really good video. And his opinion was just let it sit there, it'll be a searchable. It will gather pace.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. With those, they might be evergreen. I had one. The best video on my channel is about these things, right? These SSD drives.
Oh yes, I remember yours. A comparison. I still to this day, I think it was the first video of yours I ever watched was your top SSDs. Yeah. Before I knew you.
It's gone past 500,000 views now, which is like awesome.
Yeah,
lots of affiliate I think it's 2,000-3,000 views every single day on that.
Wow.
So it's still growing. It's annoying because there's stuff in that video that I say in that video that I had to go in there and correct because something happened with one of the brands there.
Yeah.
So I had to go and say, right, I know what I said that, but since then this happened, right? So you got to be careful. So I need to do an update on that. But it was one of those videos that didn't do anything for like a month. It was again 2,000-3,000 views, and now is the most viewed video on my channel.
So it wasn't. It didn't pick up initially. Then.
No,
It wasn't a flyer from day one.
No, I should post that on Twitter because it's one of those very interesting use cases, right? It could have been one of the videos I deleted because I got so like, come on, I spent hours. It was like testing. I think I tested Samsung tablets, MacBooks, iPads, speed transfers. I put a spreadsheet online for people to go in and see the raw data if they wanted to. Recorded everything, and it's just like, oh my god, it did nothing for like a month, and then it's like, it's not stopping. So it could reach 1 million, which is insane.
That'd be something special if it got to that, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
and think you're going to delete it.
Lesson
there to be learned.
My accessories one is one of them that if it didn't have a sponsor, I'm 100% sure I would have deleted it because I was like, come on.
The Black Friday one.
This last one I uploaded. The Black Friday one. Yeah.
No,
it's terrible because it's just painful.
Yeah, I was looking at people's numbers, even just on the views last weekend, and they weren't good. They really weren't. So I don't know. It just seemed like whether everyone sort of stateside, it was just overload. It was families, holidays, eating. I don't know. You would have thought at the time people would want to sit down and watch videos. But
but I think we also get a little bit maybe too. We expect too much from ourselves, right? And it's like, maybe our shit is just not that good, right? That's kind of one of the things that sometimes we just got to be honest with ourselves and say, right, if that one didn't work, I'm exactly like that. I'll pretty much give up, and like I said, sometimes even delete the videos. But maybe we should just like persevere, right? Because with my gaming setup is another one that I spent it's insane amounts of money getting that setup ready. I did one video, it tanked, and I never touched it again. And I think that's bad. I think I should persevere, do maybe 2-3 videos, and then if they don't do anything, I'll give up. But to not do anything after having spent I can't say on this video, but it's a lot of investment and time and whatever. So to expect one video to do well, and it's too much.
Yeah, and also it comes back to the thing that it's something you enjoy. And, we can't just be slaves to the algorithm of making the same video week after week after week.
Yeah,
it's something
exactly,
you enjoy, it might not do as well initially, but again, so I would imagine something like a gaming PC setup, that is definitely searchable because people come into building something for themselves. And
when you stop and think, okay, what went wrong here, right? So we should do that even on the videos. We like to say what went well when the video does well, but it's hard to go, what went wrong here? What did I do wrong here? And looking at it now, with a bit of a non-emotional attachment to it, I'm thinking, okay, that I just, people are probably not interested in the showing off of the, how beautiful it is and how capable this stuff is, which is what I did in a very I don't know, it's like a mostly voiceover style, very chilled, but it was kind of a show off video. If I look at it now, rather than look how interesting it is to put this thing together and actually building the video, which I never showed. And I've recorded all the footage for me, like struggling to put this, fit the thing in the case. And that would have been a different approach. And maybe that would have been more interesting. So maybe I'll, but I never tried that again.
Yeah, I think you need to revisit. Yeah, I think you need to give it another couple of shots.
Yeah, when it's a bit quieter, maybe in December, January, I'll give that another go.
I think the last thing we were going to mention was that YouTube are actually getting really serious now about podcasts. So, of course, we do this on YouTube in
an hour every 2 weeks.
An hour every 2 weeks, yep. And in my day, of course, podcasts were audio only. And that whole seascape has completely changed now. And these kind of conversations that you and I have, very, very popular and have replaced, to some degree, chat shows. And YouTube are clearly tapping into it, and they are now I'm guessing most people understand RSS feeds, and that's how this works. You know, we've got a host, and it goes out to Spotify, it goes out to Apple Podcasts, and it's all on RSS feeds. We only upload it to one host, and it gets fed out. And now YouTube are taking that RSS feed. Now, I've looked into it. You mentioned the video that Tom Buck made about it. That's where I first heard about it. It's a little bit clunky at the moment. They clearly want to test the water, but I don't think they quite know what they need to do with it. I mean, clearly
it's exciting
because they're so searchable. That's the thing. It's it's the best search engine out there. If we're on there, it's going to help.
Yeah, and it's it's another revenue stream, right? Because if you think about, I'm assuming that they would add their own ads, and it would be just part of the AdSense thing. I haven't read into it, but that's what I would assume the benefit would be for ourselves, for example, to have something on YouTube instead of Buzzsprout or whatever. Yeah, I think it's good that it's another channel for revenue.
They're clearly. I think they're investing. Well, Google have taken down, I think, their podcast directory, haven't they? But whereas YouTube are really clearly heavily investing, because now there's a separate tab that we upload this as a podcast.
I watch so many. I mean, on my drive here, whenever I'm like filming B-roll, I've got some sort of podcast on YouTube. But the video, I'm watching the video. And I watch maybe the first 5 minutes just to kind of see who the guest is sometimes, see who they're talking about, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But then it becomes an audio thing. It's in the background. Even though I'm watching the video, I'm not actually looking at it. So I think it's a massive win. It makes a lot of sense.
There's about 3 or 4 that I listen to or watch every week. And sometimes I'll even cross-pollinate. I'll start off listening to them in the car, and then I'll get home and find that point on the video. And then, because it's sometimes quite nice just to sit down, a glass of wine and have those couple of guys talking and something you're interested in, and just to see the interaction between them. So, so it looks like YouTube are properly, deeply and long-term invested in podcasts, which can only be a good thing, can't it?
It's good. It's good. I think it's, a bit late, right? Because if you think about how Spotify introduced video to their platform, right? And now you can watch like a podcast on Spotify, with brilliant video quality. So, I would have thought that they would have reacted way earlier. But it's nice to see that it's there now as an option. And from a creator perspective, it opens up another stream, right, for revenue, not just the advertisers that might be exposed to your content now that possibly probably wouldn't have before, but also the AdSense. I'm assuming.
Of course. Well, and it's hour-long content, isn't it? So they've got plenty of spots in there where they can drop their 2 or 3 adverts in. So it's got to be good. Okay, mate. I think we've covered everything we said we were going to try and get through. The big one being Casetify, but I think we've said our 2 bits on that. So
it's always good to not good, but always interesting to see what beefs on Twitter and
that's why I first saw it.
Getting into a bit of a situation there. But hopefully they will fix it all and pay everyone who was involved.
That's when I first heard about it on Twitter. I suddenly saw all this stuff and I was like, what the hell's going on? And then, of course, I got to the bottom of it and I watched the video. And I watched Zach's video last weekend and I sort of really took it was last weekend, and really took it all in. Interesting times. But so your next video, which you're hoping is going to be over the weekend, is going to be...
S24 Ultra. Hopefully tomorrow, if not over Sunday. And following that, there will be my 6 months review of the Garmin, which is still on my wrist, even though after the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I thought I'd go back to the Apple Watch Ultra, but it's clearly sitting here collecting dust.
Yeah, I think I need to probably have that off you. I want an Ultra. I've got no reason to have one, but I just want one.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But for my use, the Garmin does it.
Garmin works. Okay, mate. I hope you have a good weekend. Try and relax, try and get out of there before 2. And Alex and I'll be back in a couple of weeks' time with another chat. And maybe we should get Daniel on before Christmas. Maybe we should try and chat to Daniel and get him back on. Yeah, because he's going to be quite busy with Samsung stuff in January. So we should definitely have him now. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that before it gets mental for him. Yeah. And like a subscriber. Absolutely, we keep forgetting to do that. I know, we're still pushing it because we've got so many commitments to our other channels, and this is, it's just one other thing to do. But we do it. We've got a good work. Yeah, let's see if we can get this to 70 subscribers before the end of the year. There's only 3. There's only 3 to go, maybe 4. I stand by it. Lost a sub this month. Oh, Jesus, did we? I stand by the fact that we give good content. I'm really proud of this podcast. And I actually probably most prefer it to the videos I make because it's just,
yeah.
it's,
Shout out to Lewis from Twitter, Lewis Doyle. He listens
Lewis
to
Doyle.
us. He
Yes.
came up on his top 3 podcasts of the year. So,
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lewis Doyle.
So he
Thank you
probably
very
only
much.
listens to 3, to be fair. We were 3rd. But we're there, top 3.
Yeah, and if you listen to us on Apple, you're definitely supposed to give us the 5 stars and review on Apple. That does help us with their directories as well. So if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, do your bit for us. We're two hardworking guys. We need a bit of help. Go on, help us out. We love this podcast. We're not going to give it up. We just need a bit of traction on it. So do your thing. Share it out for us. Right, that was shameless. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Alex, have a lovely weekend and I'll see you soon.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers all. See ya.